Yeah.
But the thing with us in Africa is not having the policies, is enforcement and compliance.
Implementation. Yep.
You understand? Because with the West, you have the policies, you have enforcement, you have compliance. There are a lot of compliance codes and everything.
Yeah.
And if you're in violation, there's someone coming after you.
Right.
There are consequences.
Right.
But we haven't gotten to the point where we are being very strong with enforcement when it comes to compliance and making sure that those consequences are dealt with.
Yeah, no, you're completely right. And I think part of that also is like not being data driven, because a lot of things, like from a compliance standpoint, like how do you tell if somebody did XYZ or did not do XYZ unless you're monitoring those things and auditing it on a recurring basis. Hey, what's up, fam? It's Saul Levy, host of Africans in Tech, where we're building bridges and shaping futures in tech. On our podcast today, we got our guest, Blessing Douglas.
Yes.
How you doing, Blessing?
Well, thank you.
Awesome. Blessing and I got in touch with each other through Kadiatu, my assistant. So shout out Kadi. And then I kind of picked it up from there. And she's in town for the UN thingy, right?
I was in New York for about a week for the United Nations General Assembly meetings.
Nice. And then she said, hey, I can pivot to do the podcast. And I was like, okay, that's great.
Yes.
So welcome, Blessing.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So what we usually do is ask guests to do a quick intro about themselves, nothing technical, and then we'll go from there.
Great. My name is Blessing Boma Douglas. Boma is my name, is also the name of my brand. Full name is Tamno Boma. I'm from River State, the southern part of Nigeria.
Nice.
Usually, probably popularly known as the treasure base of the nation.
Okay.
Like I said, you have a treasure sitting in front of you. So, and Tamno Boma means God's blessing. Nice. And so Boma for short is blessing, which is my name, Blessing.
Awesome.
So, and I'm an entrepreneur. I like to see myself as a development worker as well, and mental health advocate, transformational leader, whatever you call it. I'm all about impact and youth and women empowerment.
Okay.
Yes.
No, that's awesome. Yeah. Let's start all the way from the beginning. So, do you have siblings?
Siblings?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have 2 brothers.
Okay.
My brother is a soccer player. Plays soccer in Europe.
Nice.
And is currently in Europe playing soccer. And then the last is Adrian. Adrian is autistic.
Okay.
So is back home and just managing the situation with his illness. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. And then what about your parents? What do they do?
My dad is in oil and gas.
Okay.
And they're all based in Nigeria.
Okay.
Yes.
What about mom?
Mom is just business.
Okay.
Just does business.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's where you got the entrepreneurship from?
Well, I guess my grandparents raised me, actually. So
okay.
I got that from my grandmother because she's very industrious and everything.
Okay.
And my grandfather was also in oil and gas as well.
Okay. Yes. So you said your grandparents raised you?
Yes, my paternal grandparents.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So did you stay with them?
For the most part, yes, because my dad was in school. He was in the university.
Okay.
And I was pretty young, so I grew up with my grandparents.
Gotcha.
So most times when people engage with me, they say, like, you sound like an old soul. You're more advanced than your age and stuff like that. And I like to give credit to them because I lived around gray hair. Old people, So
Gotcha.
My grandpa is late now, but my grandma is very much alive. And I learned a lot from them.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah. We were talking on the pod earlier with her name was Helen. We're talking about how important grandparents are in many African households. My grandma the same. Like my grandma literally was, I won't say she raised me, but when I was in Africa, she like literally was the most influential person that I was around. And that was a tough loss for me, for my grandma. So
still is for my grandfather because he was Papa.
Yeah.
And sometimes I just like assure myself that he's smiling down at us and just being excited for us and watching over us and all the things that we're achieving. So
nice. That's
awesome.
That's
enough consolation.
Yeah, for sure. Growing up, what did you dream about becoming?
Well, when you come from an African home, you don't
Yeah.
dream about becoming anything. You become what your parents want you
Yeah,
to
yeah,
become,
yeah,
right?
yep, yep.
That's a good
Yeah.
question. So, growing up, I would say as a young child, I didn't really have my aspiration was to become a lawyer.
Okay.
And but as a child, you grow up, there's so many times that changes,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
So yeah, it was to become a lawyer. And then um my dad probably wanted me to become an economist or do something in the sciences
Okay.
because he's in the social sciences.
Gotcha.
But science class and math was not my thing. And I did an internship at a law firm. It got me into a law firm to even do an internship, basically trying to nurture that
Okay.
drive and that fire
Gotcha.
into becoming a lawyer. But then, unfortunately, the university I went to happened to be an American university. And for
Okay.
American schools, you don't just go straight into doing law. You have to do like another degree, prerequisites
Yeah, yeah,
degree,
yeah.
like. And so the university at the time, we were doing international and comparative politics,
Yep, yep.
and there was no law. And then I think it was in my junior year, I had 1 year left when
Yeah.
they then introduced the law school.
Okay.
And it was like, I was like, should I go back and do this? I was going to be able to transfer credits,
Yeah.
but
Yep.
thinking about the fact that my classmates are going to be walking down the aisle and graduating, and then
Yeah.
I'm still here, that wasn't funny. So I was like, I'm not doing it. So yeah, I ended up, graduating, with international and comparative politics for my
Okay.
first degree,
Gotcha.
and I didn't do law anymore.
Okay. Okay. So what did you want to do with that degree then?
So I wanted to do things in the development field because going to that university, it's called Africa's First Development University, American University of Nigeria.
Okay. Okay.
And one of the major things that was at the core of what they did was introducing us to community service
Gotcha.
and community development work and stuff like that. Because most of the kids in that school were kids of like, the 1% of the 1%.
Yeah.
And you're dealing with kids who have never known what poverty is.
Mm,
You're dealing with kids who have never gone hungry in a day in their life.
mm.
So the president of the university at the time was very intentional about exposing us to that other side of reality
Yeah.
and to knock on the door of our humanity,
That's
to
awesome.
know that even though you come from this level of luxury and comfort,
Yeah.
there are people out there who do not have that same opportunity,
Yeah.
and you're in an environment where you can do something about it. And it doesn't mean that you have to take your school fees and give to them,
Right.
but dedicating at least 1 hour a week or 3 hours a week from your time
I love
to
that.
go into the community, to teach at the schools, to participate at the, because there was also the insurgency, the Boko Haram crisis.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
So we would go to the IDP camps, internally displaced persons, their
Okay.
camps,
Okay.
for food donation, to support them and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
that kind of opened the chapter for me.
Yeah.
For I enjoyed doing that, and
Yeah.
I was like, I kind of like being in the field, teaching these kids,
Right.
participating in the community service and doing community support projects. So
Yeah.
that was the beginning and the introduction for me into community development work. And from there, I saw a void in the mental health space,
Okay.
because I noticed that most of the organizations that flew in there and put up their tent, they were basically looking at physical issues,
Yeah.
like, oh, this person lost a leg,
Gotcha.
this person lost an arm,
Yeah.
this person needs blood, food, shelter, welfare.
Yeah.
Not enough, or not a lot of people were thinking about the PTSD,
Yep.
the mental health implication of the displacement, the
Right.
trauma, and all of those things. And so when I was put in as one of the coordinators for the welfare support for some of the girls that escaped abduction,
Yeah.
that had received scholarship at the school,
Yeah.
and when I got close to them and started hearing the stories, the experiences throughout the violence and what was really going on in the community,
Yeah.
I then took it upon myself that I needed to do something about it. And so that was when I launched my first nonprofit organization, which is about mental health.
Gotcha.
And then I went out there, partnered with some psychiatrists and psychologists, and we began this mental health campaign.
Yeah.
And group counseling, individual counseling, and just started putting words out there for people to know that there's help.
Yeah.
If they need any kind of help. And that was the beginning of my basically my nonprofit career. Yeah.
That's awesome. Let's talk a bit, I guess, about mental health. Like, um, I know in Sierra Leone that for a while there wasn't sort of like a program that helped individuals that had any sort of mental illness.
Mm-hmm.
And it took a while for that to kind of get started. Like, how are people with mental health issues right now being treated in Nigeria from your experience?
So I feel like there's a lot of improvement. They
Mm.
have a lot of organizations who have brought about a lot of awareness now.
Mhm.
There's a lot of stakeholder participation in conversations around the issue, government trying to do something about it,
Right.
but it's still not enough
Yeah.
because there's still a lot of barriers. They have a lot of superstitious beliefs
Yep.
about it, cultural barriers about it.
Yep.
There's still a lot of stigma. I think that's like the biggest one.
Yep. Yep.
When you talk about it will surprise you to know that most people, their only knowledge or understanding of mental health is psychosis.
Hmm.
Like the first thing people would say if you talk about mental health is if you're mad,
Right.
or and not just mad, but mad and roaming the street.
Right.
That's
Exactly.
what mental health means to
Yep.
them.
Yep.
But they don't know that mental health translates to stuff like clinical depression,
Yep.
anxiety,
Right.
bipolar disorder,
Yep.
schizophrenia,
Yep.
all sorts. Like there's so much,
Right.
when you're talking about mental health, when you break it down, there's so many parts, and as many as the parts are, that's how, and as different as their names are,
Yeah.
that's how different the symptoms are,
Right.
and that's how different the treatment is.
Yeah.
You have different kinds of treatment plans. I still work in the mental health space
Mhm.
under the Medicaid program here in the US, and I deal with all kinds of groups, from people dealing with addiction to schizophrenia to anxiety, domestic abuse, and all the trauma that comes with it. I'm dealing with this homelessness. I'm
Yeah.
dealing with these people every day,
Yeah.
trying to teach them, help them how to navigate the system, to get help through therapy, through the PRP program, that's the psychiatric rehabilitation program under Medicaid.
Gotcha.
And this is what I do on a daily basis,
Yeah.
as a contractor, on the side, because that's how I fund the business dream, by the way.
Yeah. 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 No.
Yeah.
I mean, kudos to you for doing that because I think,
Yeah.
like you said, there's a lot of challenges,
Yeah.
and not just in Nigeria. I think continental wise, like
Yes.
a lot of countries in Africa struggle with how to
Mm-hmm.
handle that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's now finally being like myths being busted around
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of those issues, especially when you talk about the tribalistic
Mm-hmm.
standpoint, where a lot of people like you know
Yeah.
if you have these issues, you automatically have to be crazy. It's like, no,
Yeah.
and even that word itself, crazy, like, what does that even mean? Like,
Exactly.
there's actual clinical diagnosis about XYZ issues, but
Mm-hmm.
those things aren't really discussed too much. Um, okay. So let's talk, I guess, in terms of like the challenges that you faced around that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So working with persons with, mental health issues and then
Mm-hmm.
facing a population of society that doesn't necessarily treat it as if it's a clinical diagnosis
Mm-hmm.
issue. Like, what are some of the challenges that you faced in dealing with that?
There was culturally, there are a lot of challenges
Yeah,
that we were facing because people were not very receptive towards us
yeah, yeah,
when we came around,
yeah.
and people were not very open when it came to having conversations about these issues.
Right.
And it was interesting to find that in the process of our research, people, most of the terrorist groups take advantage of this vulnerable population and the PTSD that they deal with and the
Yeah,
trauma that they deal with. They take
yeah.
advantage of it. And that was how it was easy for them to groom those kids to become suicide bombers.
Oh, okay.
And so, in being very forceful and being persistent in going into these communities
Yeah,
and being intentional about how to converse with these kids,
yeah,
taking into consideration their cultural values and everything that religion as well,
right,
and being careful about the language you use,
yeah,
how you approach it, being sensitive,
right,
and not being too invasive
yeah,
when talking to them, and being patient too. Gradually they begin to open up.
Yeah.
and they will tell the person they're most comfortable with, and that person is like a mouthpiece
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
communicate it.
Yep.
And as time goes on, when you win their trust, then they open up to you
Yeah.
directly. And for the most part, what they feared about was retaliation,
Gotcha.
not just from their peers, but from their community. They didn't want to be isolated as that person that has this issue, or that
Right.
person that is talking to a foreigner
Yep. Yep.
about this issue, or that
Right.
person that is exposing them or their group
Yeah.
to outsiders. And so we had to be extremely careful and cautious, and basically put a lot of things in place
Yeah.
to protect them from being exploited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's good. I can just imagine even still now, like some of those challenges that you face till today.
Yeah.
But
But it's different here in the West.
yeah.
because because here they know they have the issues, they
Yeah.
wear it as a badge,
Yeah.
and then they have a very big sense of
And
entitlement.
we have policies. Like we
Yes,
have policies that literally
yes,
protect certain
yes,
populations. So
yes. We have
yeah.
HIPAA.
Yep.
You can just talk about these things.
Right.
We have all kinds of policies.
Right.
So then they are aware.
Right.
They're educated. They are well aware of these policies. They
Right.
would actually even tell you cannot share their information
Exactly.
and everything. So
Yeah.
the thing we deal with here is very different.
Yep.
We're dealing with entitlement.
Right.
We're dealing with folks who think that you owe them more than you actually owe
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
dealing with people that don't respect boundaries.
Yeah.
You're dealing with people that won't just listen, which
Right.
makes your work absolutely
Much more difficult.
difficult.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you well, do you know of any like similar laws to like HIPAA in Nigeria? Is there anything similar?
Nah.
Okay. So just willy-nilly you can share anybody's event. That's crazy. Yeah.
The medical code of conduct has a lot,
Okay.
right?
Yep.
But in terms of policies and procedures,
Gotcha.
we have a long way to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because even like with Europe, like there's this whole
Mhm.
GDPR when I'm like private data, and I forget
Yeah.
what's the name of it. They started this with I forget the UN, not the UN, but the Africa nations thingy, where they were trying to create a policy where it surrounds around data protection, privacy, and all that. I think it's Bamoka or something like that. Bamoka. They were trying to create something similar, so that they can something similar towards GDPR.
Mhm.
And I don't know where that's at. Only like I think 7 nations opted in, and then the rest of the other countries still haven't bought into it yet.
Mhm.
But to me, those are the things I think that really need to be discussed when it comes
Mhm.
to like, really been focused on like how we can help create policies and regulations that help
Yeah.
protect people's data, especially from like general healthcare standpoint, right?
Yeah.
You know,
And another thing I know is that we currently actually probably have some.
yeah,
But the thing with us in Africa is not having the policies, is enforcement and
yeah,
compliance.
implementation. Yep, yep,
You
yep,
understand? Because with the West, you have the policies, you have
Yeah.
enforcement, you have compliance. There are
Yeah.
a lot of compliance codes and everything.
yeah,
And if you're in violation, there's someone coming after you.
right,
There are consequences.
right,
But we haven't gotten to the point where we are being very strong with enforcement when it comes to compliance
Yeah.
and making sure that those consequences are dealt with.
yeah. No, you're completely right. And I think part of that also is like not being data driven. Because a lot of things like from a compliance standpoint, like how do you tell if somebody did XYZ or did not do XYZ
Mhm.
unless you're monitoring those things and auditing it on a
Mhm.
recurring basis?
Mhm.
And unfortunately, this is just my theory. I could be completely wrong.
Mhm.
I think when it comes from an auditing standpoint, a lot of agencies and governments, they understand that once you start doing that, they have to be held accountable.
Yeah.
But a lot of leadership in the continent, they don't want to be held accountable for much.
Exactly.
So when it comes to systems being developed, like they know what it takes to monitor, and they know what's going to happen once you start having records of like XYZ things being done.
Mhm.
But a lot of them, they don't want that because now you can start doing things however you want without
True.
having the enforcement behind it. But I'm hoping it does change.
Hopefully.
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
Hopefully.
let's get back to you though. All right, so let's talk about post college. What did you do like your first job out of college?
I had 3 jobs.
3. Wow. Okay. Okay.
So, after college,
Yeah.
back home, you have what we call NYSC,
Yeah.
the
Yep.
National Youth Service stuff and everything.
Yep.
So during that year, I actually was working with the university still at the admissions department in Lagos for recruitment because I was one of the student ambassadors, and I used to travel a lot and represent the university at conferences and
Nice.
seminars overseas, London, Dubai, US, and all of that.
Okay.
So it was just I was like the role model for to talk about the university and encourage people to attend the university.
Nice, nice.
So that was an easy job.
Okay.
The second one happened to be with the one of the sons of the founder of the university, who was actually the former vice president of the country.
Okay.
We had gone to the Holt Prize. I don't know if you've heard about the Holt Prize.
No,
The Bill
what's that?
Clinton initiative in partnership with the Holt Business School.
Okay, gotcha.
And we had this amazing idea. And when we came back, he was interested in investing and funding. And so we were working on together on the application. It was called Sadua at the
Okay.
time.
This was
like
Bill that was interested in investing?
No, it was
Oh,
Abba Atiku.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, the VP.
His son.
Okay. Oh, the son. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Abba Atiku was investing in it, and so
Yeah.
it was like a social media app called Sadua.
Okay.
And so we came back from Dubai, and then it was this whole thing about getting investors, and so we're working on that.
Gotcha.
And then the third job, I was working with a production company, Lufodo Productions.
Okay.
And look for the Academy of Performing Arts.
Nice.
And yeah, so those are the three things.
You were busy.
Yeah, I was busy. I was hustling.
Yeah, I see.
And I was also still doing my stuff with the nonprofit, because at the time I was also bringing delegates to the US for conferences and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
In DC, the African American Student Leadership Experience and all that. So
okay.
Yeah, I was busy.
Yeah, no, I can see.
So
wow.
I did that for like a year.
Okay.
And then during that year, I also was applying to. Actually, what had happened was one of my godfathers, who happened to be a board member as well. And funny enough, I met him at the board because I used to go for board meetings as a student leader.
Okay.
So I met him on the board, and we engaged, and I, nurtured that relationship and just kept in touch. And when it came for commencement, he was like, he saw that I was receiving a lot of awards and everything, and he was very proud of me. And then he goes, "So what do you want for your graduation gift?" Yeah. And I said, "I want an internship at your firm." And he looked at me and he said, "Done." Wow. So after my 1 year as an NYSC grad, I went straight to California, Silicon Valley, for that internship. Yeah. And while I was there, about 6 months.
Okay, nice.
And so while I was there, he encouraged me to begin looking at grad schools. Nice. And so I was applying. I applied to McGill University in Canada. Okay. Applied to George Washington University here in DC. Yeah. And a bunch of other universities. Yeah. And they all gave scholarships, but GW gave me the most. Gotcha. So okay. Then I chose GW, and that was the beginning of my American dream.
Nice.
Journey.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. What did you study at GW?
Public administration with a concentration in nonprofit management.
Okay. Okay. And so the focus was still at the nonprofits. Yeah. Okay. Okay. That's awesome. All right. So let's talk about, I guess, that process and like going to GW. What was your experience there?
I was pregnant for my daughter. Okay. So it was like intense because it was the most challenging year I had had so far, because I found out I was pregnant 3 weeks into my program. Okay. And then so throughout my journey, I wasn't able to do a lot of things that my classmates were doing. Gotcha. Going for happy hour, networking. Yeah. Doing internship and externships and all of that on campus or off campus, or teaching assistants, all of those things. I wasn't able to do it. Mm-hmm. So it was just focusing on basically surviving and making good grades. And then I would go to school. My class was usually 6 to 8 in the evening. Okay. And then I was trying to get like it was a CPT, they called it, where you work part-time. That was CPT when you're still in school, and then OPT afterwards. So okay. And then I had this job in Baltimore. So I would take the MAC train from from DC
Ooh,
Union Station
yeah,
and go
yeah,
to Penn Station in Baltimore
yeah.
a couple of times a week. And it was crazy. I don't know how I survived it,
Yeah,
but
I'm gonna say that's a
somehow,
hike. Okay.
yeah, somehow I managed to survive the 2 years and
Yeah.
still graduated with the honors and everything. So it
Wow.
was still, we thank God.
Yeah, no, that's
When
awesome.
I think about it, I just say it was God.
Yeah.
I was just determined to make good grades, and my teachers were actually very flexible with me as well because they understood my situation.
Yeah.
So if I needed an extension, they would give it to me.
Nice.
With my assignments and everything. And then COVID happened, so
Okay.
that even made it harder. So classes had to go virtual.
Yeah, yeah,
So that kind of helped in the end because I didn't have to make that commute
yeah,
to class as often as I used to.
yeah,
And even with work, I had to slow down.
yeah.
And, so we got through school with Zoom classes, and we didn't have a commencement that year because of COVID. So we had to
Wow.
wait a year
Yeah, yeah,
to wear our cap and gown.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
How's how's that experience, I guess, in terms of like COVID? Because we've had quite a few guests recently talk about like for you, it might have been more helpful because again, that commute, like you say, you have
Yeah.
to make that, but then also, are you a person that learns better like in person, or can you learn just as well over like Zoom or some other like digital
Oh, I,
format?
I think it was easy because undergrad introduced us to that.
Okay,
We had a lot of classes where we had exchange professors
gotcha,
and
gotcha.
visiting professors,
Yep.
and we had professors who would have guest lecturers.
Okay.
And so the curriculum was set up in such a way that there are times where you have your professor in class with you teaching,
Yeah.
and there are times when he will teach and then invite a guest professor who will be from American University in Cairo,
Gotcha.
and it's going to be virtual,
Okay.
or from American University here in DC, and then it's going to be virtual. So that exposure was already there.
Yeah.
So by the time COVID happened, it wasn't a new experience. So
Okay.
it was easy to just transition.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And your daughter, you have your daughter in DC?
Oh yes.
Okay.
We actually live in Virginia,
Okay.
but I'm in and out DMV, DC, Virginia, Maryland. It's all together, so
Okay.
I'm in and out of all three states almost every other day because I have something to do in one of them
Gotcha.
all the time. So yeah, she's been with me since she was born. So
Nice.
it's
Nice.
just the two of us.
How do you like living in DC or the
The
Virginia area? I should
DMV
say.
area.
Yeah.
I've actually lived in Maryland,
Hmm.
and then I've lived in Virginia, and then I've worked in DC.
Okay. What part of Maryland?
Wheaton, Montgomery
Oh yeah.
County,
Yeah.
Silver Spring.
Yeah. My when my wife and I got married, we were in Silver Spring. I grew up in Montgomery County.
Okay.
Yes, I went to school in Magruder High School,
Yeah.
and then my college undergrad I did at University of Maryland, College Park, the
Oh,
Terps.
College
Yeah,
Park.
yeah, I
Yeah, I
went to
know
College Park.
those.
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
everywhere around there.
yeah, and then my grad school was at Salisbury University in UMES area. So
Nice.
yeah, very familiar with
Yes,
the
I
Maryland. Yeah,
loved living there. We
yeah,
lived in an apartment there,
yeah.
Metro Points, just by the Red Line.
Yep, yep. I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're
So
talking about. Yeah,
that was nice. I was
yeah,
there throughout graduate school,
yeah.
and I think I moved to Virginia in 2021.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where'd you move to in Virginia?
Falls Church.
Okay. Oof,
Yeah.
okay. That's
Fairfax County.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And what year was this?
2021.
Okay. Well, maybe it wasn't as bad then. I don't know what it is now, but um prices were, I thought it was bad back then,
It's bad.
but now, oh
It's
my God.
ridiculously
Oh my God. It's so
expensive.
expensive. It's crazy.
City of Falls Church has to be like one of the most expensive
It's
in the
expensive.
Fairfax County.
Whew.
But the schools, though,
The schools are really good.
that's
Yeah,
why.
I give you that.
That's why I'm
Yeah.
there. The schools, because she gets to go to very good schools.
Nice, nice. Yeah.
It's the price we're paying.
Yeah, yeah. No, I get it. It's a sacrifice. Same here.
Yeah.
My children to go to really good schools, but
Yeah.
man, I tell you, it's expensive.
Yes,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is. Kids are expensive.
Yeah, yeah. No, definitely. Tell me about it. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. How old is your daughter now?
she's 6 years old.
Oh, nice, nice.
6+.
Okay, okay,
Yes.
okay. Any siblings on the way?
Nope. No, 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 no. Oh, no, 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 no. Not now, not yet.
Yeah.
Maybe when God sends the man, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay.
When God sends a good man.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Do you guys go back home often?
The last time we were at home was in 2020. We went 2019, came
Okay.
back 2020.
Okay.
So I haven't been back home for almost 5 years
Gotcha.
plus right
Okay.
now.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you miss home?
Do I? I don't know.
Yeah.
I miss the support system that I
Okay.
would have had
Gotcha.
because it's hard here without a support
Very
system, and
true.
childcare is like incredibly expensive,
Yep.
and even getting the good one
Yeah.
is like incredibly difficult
Yeah.
because it's one thing to pay, but it's another thing to get good
Good
service when
service.
you pay. So
Very
I
true.
miss that.
Yeah.
Sometimes I miss the ease of having, you know, I don't want to call it cheap, affordable
Yeah.
labor,
Yep. Yeah.
because as a copper, as an NYC copper,
Yeah.
I had someone that worked for me and made sure there was fuel in my generator,
Yeah.
someone who like did my laundry,
Yeah.
someone who would clean the house
I
and
get it.
cook
Yeah.
before I get
Yeah.
home. So when I get home and I'm exhausted, I don't
Yeah.
have to do those things.
Yeah.
It's a price that I don't mind paying because I get to rest and
Yeah.
then do the jobs that I'm doing. But here, man,
I'm telling you, capitalism, man. Yeah. And again, yeah,
it's like the
yeah,
DIY culture and
yeah,
it's killing.
yeah. Like I think one thing I do love, again, I always talk about this and people get mad at me for this, but I love the opportunities that we get here, but I think people don't get to see like the value of their money long term,
Absolutely.
and that's what I tell a lot of Pan-Africanists, whether you are diasporan, whether you're African American, like whatever ethnicity background you are, like my hope for people is like to be able to spend your money and be able to get the value
Get
out of it,
value, yeah.
and that's why I always preach like the continent. If you have a good
Yeah.
job that allows you to be remote, like
Yeah,
really consider,
absolutely.
yeah,
No,
consider,
actually,
yeah,
I'm just trying to get myself sorted out
establish.
first,
Yep,
established.
completely
And
get
when the
it.
moment I'm established,
Yeah.
bounce.
Yeah, no, I get it. I completely
Yeah,
get it. Yeah,
because
yeah,
it's a lot.
yeah. It's tough
I
here.
keep telling my daughter, look, I can't do this no more. You're going to boarding school.
Yeah, it is
I'm
tough.
counting down
Yeah,
like
yeah,
boarding school.
yeah. It is tough here. Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about like what do you do now, like work wise? I know we're gonna get into AdSense in a bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so work wise, I have like I'm a contractor.
Okay.
Like I said, on the Medicaid program, PRP program,
Hmm.
that's what brings in the money.
Yep.
For my day-to-day stuff that I do.
Yep.
I have the flexibility of how I work, where when I work, and all of that. So that
Nice.
makes it easier for me as a contractor. And then on the other side, I'm trying to build my business, my
Okay.
brand.
Yep.
We have Boma Group of Companies,
Okay.
which is into the consulting, education, and digital assets. And for Boomer Consulting, we do basically business consulting, nonprofit consulting, business development consulting, and all of that.
Okay.
And then on the education aspect, we do training. Hence, we have the Boomer Academy.
Okay.
And through the Boomer Academy, we do entrepreneurship trainings
Okay.
for youth, MSMEs, across board for business development, how to do your pitch deck, grant writing, all of those things that
Gotcha.
people usually need to self start. And then for the digital assets, that's where AdSense AI comes in and
Okay.
everything. Um, this all started during COVID because I couldn't work, and so I was doing a lot of remote freelance gigs.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
I was basically doing a bunch of stuff, helping people with their personal statements
Yeah.
for scholarship applications, helping people with researching scholarship opportunities,
Where are you finding these opportunities?
research.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Australia, UK,
Wow.
Russia, different countries. It doesn't have to
Nice.
just be US.
Yeah.
US is not the only country that gives
Yeah.
scholarships. So,
Yeah.
and people have different budgets, so they'll tell you what their budget is,
Yeah.
and then based on that, you do an assessment of different countries
Yeah.
and their affordability and the amount that they offer and,
Right.
and stuff like that. All the paperwork required,
That's awesome.
teaching people how to do that. I did photography because I was able to do a free elective in school, photography, and so I was able to utilize that skill.
Yeah.
So I would do infant photography shoots. I got a camera, infant photography shoots.
Yeah.
I would do social media management for small businesses in my area, restaurants,
Yeah.
lounge. So I was doing a bit of
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so one day I was like, since I have the skill, I could just register this as a business and
Yeah.
then, have a proper structure where
Yeah.
when people reach out to me, I give them the business card
That's
and,
awesome.
so that was how we registered the Boma group of companies.
Okay.
And then as time went on, it was becoming too much for just one person to handle. So I started outsourcing,
Okay.
and I would get some of my friends who different countries, Ghana, Kenya, Nigeria,
Yeah.
like, okay, put them in categories. You're in tech. Anytime I get a tech gig,
Yeah.
you're gonna do it, give you your percentage, and the business gets the percentage.
Yeah.
And so that was how we got things um, running until AI just came.
Okay. That's
and,
awesome.
and
Yeah.
when AI came, it was
Yeah.
like most of the things that we were doing, AI could do it faster, easier, and cheaper.
Yeah.
And so we started thinking, okay, what's going to happen to us? It's time
Yeah.
to sit down, go back to the table,
Yeah.
drawing board, and begin to figure out how to pivot. And we decided that the services are cool, but we won't always get them, and we have to refine them. So we started refining the services that we'll provide,
Okay.
and then decided that we're going to venture into products. So AdSense AI is our first digital asset and products
Okay.
going into the App Store.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome.
And then we have the BOMA Prize for Africa, which is the like a corporate social responsibility on the but it's registered on its own as its own entity.
Okay.
And BOMA Prize for Africa, it's basically has two aspects. The first aspect is to empower people like around Africa,
Okay.
youths, young people, women, and youths, and do development projects that align with SDG 1, 2, 3,
Okay.
and 8.
Okay.
Um, um, going around different countries in Africa and doing the best that we can towards achieving the sustainable development goals. And the signature project that we have is Boma Prize for Africa, where we train entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
They take the Boma Entrepreneurship Leadership course, which is provided on the Boma Academy platform.
Okay.
When they graduate and get the certificate, we welcome them into the Boma Prize for Africa competition.
Gotcha.
So we tell them there are so many certifications out there, but what sets us apart is that when you take our certification, we give you a platform to pitch for funding and give you access to funding.
Nice. Nice.
So
Yeah,
then
that's huge.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
then they come on to pitch, and then the winners get access to grants
Okay.
to scale their businesses.
Okay.
And on the other side, when we give awards to individuals across industries who are trailblazers and who have succeeded in business for 5-10 years.
Gotcha.
And these awardees also make donations to the organizations to support the work that we're doing in
Okay.
funding the next generation of entrepreneurs.
Gotcha. Okay. A lot of stuff you said there. We're gonna probably touch on a bunch of it. Let me ask the first question that's kind of still in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
AdSense AI. Is this is the first time you built an app, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So talk about that process, because it's like a lot of people get really scared, like, oh my God, I have to build an app, I have to build, a product. Like, what was that process like for you?
So I'm not a developer,
Mhm.
but my cousin is. His name is Tony Taria,
Okay.
and he actually already has one on the store,
Okay.
which is like an escrow kind of fintech application
Nice.
called Igbigi.
Nice.
And so when I wanted to venture into this process, I called him and I was like, T, I want to do this. So what is it going to be? And
Yeah.
so he started walking me through
Nice.
the process and everything. As a matter of fact, I told him what I wanted.
Yeah.
So T is I call him reincarnate. He's young,
Yeah.
but he's also an old soul.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's this person that you're thinking about doing something,
Mhm.
he's already done it and archived it.
Nice.
So I was having a conversation with him and I was like, T, I want to do this. We already do this as a company. And I think with AI and all of that, the way to make things easy, since we're trying to pivot, is to create this product that will do all of these things on one platform for us. So we don't need to struggle anymore. It was like, oh, I think I know what you mean. Let's get on a Zoom call. And we got on a Zoom call and he was showing me and he was like, is this not what you mean? He already had the product.
Nice.
And he just archived it.
Okay.
And he builds applications and then he sells them.
Gotcha.
And so he already had one. and he just archived it. He had not finished the development, but
Yeah.
he had like the skeleton.
Yeah. Yep.
And so I was like, yeah, that's it. I want it.
Yeah.
And then he was like, okay, then buy it.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're gonna make me buy it? It was like, it's business, sis.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. So I bought it.
Yeah.
And then I told him, but this is not the final version that I want. I
Yeah.
want us to refine it.
Yeah.
And these are certain things that I want to see. So I
Yeah.
started discussing some of the features
Yeah.
that I want to see
Okay.
in it. And then he said, sure, it can be done.
Yeah.
And that was it. That
Yeah.
was it. He got everything done.
That's
and
awesome.
so right now the web version is available. He was even sending me demos today. And in another couple of days, we should be pushing it to the stores.
Awesome. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I mean, so many different nuggets as part of that too. Like, you knew a resource that's already built this.
Yeah.
You leverage family and friends, and the other thing is also you still paid for the service.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's the other thing. Sometimes I think we have to invest in each other at times.
Yeah.
I think there's sometimes where we expect things to be free, but you're paying for people's time and their services, and the fact that you respected them enough to pay for that.
Yeah.
And then he still helps you to kind of build and refine it to where you're launching now. You know, that's kudos to you for all of those things. You know, that's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. And what's your cousin's name again?
Tonya Taria.
Yeah. Shout out to you, Tonya. So, awesome. Okay. And then in terms of like refining it, because again, you're not a developer,
yes,
but you have the idea.
Yes.
And I think that to me is also really important. Like, there's a lot of times where people are like, well, I want to build an app. It's like, you don't necessarily need to code it yourself.
Yes.
You just need to have the idea, especially now with AI, like whether you use ChatGPT or Claude or whatever it is. Like, there's so many different ways where you can get your ideas out there, and then it can help refine you. And honestly, some stuff you can build yourself. It can literally walk you through, like vibe coding and all that jazz. But there's other stuff where you can go to a developer with already an idea in mind.
Yes.
You buy, like you said, the skeleton, and then you just revamp it from there. You know, so
yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. All right, and then let's talk a bit about what you were mentioning in terms of like getting into the space of like building an app and kind of working through your 9 to 5, and then still having like this sort of like mindset that I'm gonna build this solution. This is like my end goal.
Yeah.
What makes you keep persevering? Because you've went through a lot. You talked about you're a single mom.
Yes.
Being a single mom, and going through what you've been through, not only your challenges in Nigeria, but also going to Cali. Now you're in DC or DMV, and yet you're still persevering. Like, can you talk about some of those challenges and how you were able to overcome?
Well, for me, it's having some people call it a vision board.
Yeah.
So I have a vision of the life that I want to create for myself.
Yeah.
And I've always been, I would say it goes back to my upbringing, and also the fact that I didn't come from a background where things were handed to me.
Yeah.
And for the most part, it was almost like people don't even expect anything from you, right? It's like you're just there.
Yeah.
And so there were two people that basically nurtured me and put certain things inside of me that made me, they kind of built my self-esteem and built my confidence, my grandfather and my grandmother.
Nice.
And from when I was a child growing up, they've always made me believe that I can be whatever I want to be.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter where I am, wherever I go, I must stand out and I must shine.
That's awesome.
And I've carried that with me as I grew up, and I don't wait for people to give me opportunities.
Yeah.
And especially when people say no to me, I always try to find another option.
Yeah.
So I don't sit down. I don't have a victim mentality.
Yeah.
And it's almost like if one door closes, another one will open.
Yeah.
And my grandmother will always tell me, God will always send you somebody.
Yeah.
And so she always tells me, do what you can, when you can, where you can, and always be ready for the opportunity. Let it be that when it comes, you're ready, as opposed to when it comes and you're not.
Right.
And so I've always had that mindset that wherever I am, I'll make the best use of my chances and opportunities.
Yeah.
And so I get tired, I
Yeah.
get frustrated, I
Right.
get annoyed.
Yeah.
I get, sad sometimes,
Yeah.
because I know that I work very hard. Sometimes I expect things to work faster than they are working out.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when that happens, I get in the shower and then I just try to focus on the many things that have gone right for
Right.
me
Yep.
and the many blessings that I've had,
Yep.
and try to conceptualize the fact that there are people who have not attained the feat that I have attained.
Yep.
And there are people who are probably working 10 times harder than I'm working, and I
Yeah.
haven't even achieved, a fraction of what I've achieved.
Yep.
And so that helps me stay actively in a space of gratitude,
Yep.
as opposed to complaining.
Right.
And so that gives me, and then the milestones I achieve actually inspire me to understand that if you can come this far,
Right.
imagine how much farther you can get if
Yep.
if you don't stop.
100.
And so that's basically how I just go. My friends say I'm always on autopilot. It's like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
And I am the type that I don't spend a lot of time in the ideation stage.
Okay.
I'm a doer, not a talker.
Yeah.
So if we're talking about something right now, in less than 24 hours, I probably would have figured out a way to get it done.
Nice. Nice.
And so it makes it easier for me to achieve stuff because I'm actively doing,
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
opposed to talking about
Yeah.
stuff. And so that's why it looks like I've done so much.
Yeah.
Because I'm actively doing. I rather
Yeah.
do,
Yeah.
fail, learn, and do it better
I love that.
than sit down and try to figure out
Yeah.
how to do it and use like 10 years to
Yeah.
figure
Yeah.
it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, I love that. Yeah, I think a lot of people kind of sit in that ideation stage
Yeah,
where it's
yeah.
like, I have all these ideas, all these things, but they never move. Like, and a lot of it sometimes is, I think, led by fear. Like, a lot of
Yeah.
people, they don't want to fail.
Nah,
And like,
fearless.
yeah, like at the end of the day, it's like failure is what helps you get to like that
Mm-hmm.
refined process. And it's
Yeah.
okay. For those who are listening now, I've had probably maybe 6 or 7 failed businesses. But the ones that have succeeded, I'm here where I am now because of that. And
Mm-hmm.
all you need is like 1 or 2 to succeed, and you're there. But the
Mm-hmm.
failures is where you learn,
Mm-hmm.
how to grow from that and how to
Mm-hmm.
excel. And I think a lot of times people don't want to go through that fire.
Yeah.
They're
Like
scared
the
to
fire
yeah,
burns though.
yeah, it burns. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
currently burning.
right. Yeah, it burns. Like, but that's the tough part because you learn through that piece,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then you refine it. So the next time that you brush against that fire again, you kind of know what to do
Yeah.
to kind of cool it off. So
Yeah.
yeah,
True.
yeah. So kudos to you for sticking through that.
Mm-hmm.
I know it was difficult, and it is still difficult in some realms.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that you're still persevering through that's really dope. So
Yeah.
that's awesome of you.
Okay.
Do you have any mentors or that you
Oh,
go to?
absolutely.
Okay, let's talk about some of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One of my mentors is the one I did an internship with in
Okay.
California, Silicon Valley.
Okay.
He's in so many things. He is a serial entrepreneur,
Okay.
and serial investor more
Nice.
than he buys businesses.
Okay. Okay.
So
Nice. Yeah.
he doesn't get into the nitty-gritties
Yeah.
of all the, he just buys them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then so he's like going to the store and looking at the toy and
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
he does that a lot. And so I talk to him a lot about everything I'm doing, and he's very supportive.
Awesome. Awesome.
Another person is I call him Papa, Richard Moffett Damijo.
Okay.
He's been a big mentor and a big support system. He's actually one of the board members on a nonprofit.
Okay.
Another mentor that I have mentors for everything.
That's good.
I have mentors in the tech space for everything I'm doing, because you need to learn from people who have gone before you, right?
How do you get those mentors? Because people struggle with finding mentors.
It's basically a relationship, right?
Yeah.
So some people, you have to have an idea and a mindset of what you need from certain relationships and certain situations.
Yep.
Now, it's very funny because these are people that I've met over the years and I've nurtured these relationships.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, some people, when they're in certain environments and they meet people and they network, they just network and hi, exchange cards,
Yeah.
take pictures, post pictures, and they move on.
Yep.
However, I survey the list of people that I engage with.
Yeah.
And I think about the things I'm doing in my life personally. And think about the profiles that these individuals have, and I think about which one of them would align best with what I'm trying to do and how best I can, get them
Right.
to be a part of what I'm trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
And the approach that you use is also very important. Most people, they don't nurture relationships, and then one day they want to pick up a phone and call you and ask you to do something.
Oh yeah.
That is not how it works.
Right.
So I'll give you an example. For when I met John, I met him when I went on the board meeting in probably 2013, right?
Mm-hmm.
And after the board meeting and he left, he's a very busy man, serial entrepreneur, multi-millionaire in dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Very busy man. If you send 7 emails, you probably respond to 1.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I was persistent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though if I send 20 emails, you respond to 1, that one he responds to, I'll respond to it again, and I'll keep sending emails. So I was always, sending emails, and I was always in his face, and I was always there. Nice. To the point where he saw that, okay, this is somebody that wants to learn. And we spoke about different things, and there were other things he was interested in Nigeria, especially in research, because he was trying to make some investments in Nigeria too. And he would talk to me about, I'm interested, and then I'll do the research. He wouldn't ask me to do it.
Gotcha.
I'll do the research and I'll send it to him. And I was like, I remember the last time we spoke, you mentioned this. I just saw this in the news and I thought you would be interested in it. And then I'll send it to him, and he's like, yeah, that's true. So what is going on in that space, and what are they saying about this? And then I'll respond back. So when you introduce something that they're interested in, it captures their attention, and then it keeps the conversation going. So bottom line is, you have to bring value to grab their attention. You have to be what they are while. First of all, because they don't need you for anything. You're the one that needs them. So you have to bring value. You have to have something that you're offering. And then when they see that you're valuable, they draw you closer. And when they draw you closer, you can begin to then ask them questions about certain things that you're concerned about and that you're working on. And then they may not even have it. They may just, and then they will guide you and be like, I know this person. I cannot keep count of how many people John has introduced me to. I know this person, I know that person. Call this person, tell this person I sent you. And so that's how that relationship was nurtured for about 3 years.
That's awesome.
We're communicating virtually until he came for my commencement.
Yeah.
And at that commencement, I could have asked for the latest iPhone. I could have asked for the latest human hair. I could have asked for a dress. I could have asked for a shoe. I could have asked for money. But I was like, I want to be closer. I want to stay closer. I want to be the same proximity. I need access. And I said, internship. Bring me over. Let's be in the same office. And so that was it. So that experience literally sealed the relationship that we have, to the point where we are now communicating almost every other day on WhatsApp. I see a funny TikTok video that I know will make him laugh. I send it to him. But it took time. To build. So I would say, when people think about mentorship, they should be strategic, and they should be intentional, and they should focus on nurturing relationships. Once you're able to do that, and most importantly, make sure that there's value that you're bringing to the table.
I love that.
When you're able to do that, it's easy.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I saw a post / might have been a reel. I think it was like one of those little. It's a GIF, not a post. It was a GIF where literally, like, it was a flashing thing where it says "lead with value." And I think a lot of times, especially I think from back home, because it's hard to think about value when you're going through bread and butter issues. I'm trying to relate it back to the continent now, because a lot of our people back at home, they're suffering because of lack of opportunities. They're looking for jobs and all that stuff. Like, there's nothing there. But I found the individuals that survive and do really well back home are the ones that actually lead with value, where you research and you create your own job, or you create your own space. Like, and that's literally what you did. Like, you cultivated the relationship and you created a space for yourself, and say, okay, what is it that, Mr. John needs? Like, what can I provide in terms of like value for him and his company? And then through that, your commencement speech was amazing. And then after that, he's like, okay, I see some sort of relationship that can form from here. Let me see what she wants. And you never know. It could have been a test. It could be like, okay, does this person just want money? this person just want, XYZ,
Yeah.
materialistic things, but no, you're like,
Yeah.
no, I want something else that's going to help me from a long-standing point. And
Yeah.
I think that also goes to like your long-term vision,
Mm-hmm.
because I think one thing that we also suffer from a continental perspective is not just from leadership, but I think top down,
Mm-hmm.
we suffer from like short-minded, mindset where people are just looking for the quick money, quick scheme to kind of get, monies, but we don't think long term.
Yeah.
And I
People
think,
dream to the level of their exposure.
yeah, and I think to me, my hope is that as people watch this podcast and as they listen to you speak about how you're looking long term, even with what you're building with the AI, you're looking long term. It's an
Yeah.
investment. It's your time, your effort. You're very busy now.
Yeah.
You could be spending your money on purses, bags, and go
Yeah.
enjoyment, but you're very busy and you're focused on like developing, um, systems and putting things in place
Mm-hmm.
where your long-term vision is like you said, I want to be able to just send my daughter to boarding school and be able to relax, and
Yeah.
I hope that more people listen to things like this where like really don't focus in on the short-term mindset, really think
Yeah.
about what your long-term goals are and how
Mm-hmm.
you can achieve that,
Yeah.
and that's what you're building, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
this kudos to you.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's talk, I guess, lastly about like how people can utilize like your app and what that
Okay.
entails. Like, how does it work?
So, the advertising agency, you're looking at
Yep,
an industry that is valued at over $1 trillion, right?
yep,
However, a lot of MSMEs and small businesses do not have access to using these tools, either because it's too expensive or
yep.
the agencies that they would have to pay to use them are also expensive. Also, lack of expertise and not knowing how to use it themselves, right?
Gotcha. Yep.
Because most of these people are in probably remote areas, and some of them are still trying to come to terms with and catch up with some of these technicalities.
Yeah. Yep.
And so we looked at this as a problem, especially because in doing development work, you're dealing with entrepreneurs
Yeah.
and all of these small businesses. And this problem was something that we needed to find a solution to.
Okay.
And with the invent of AI, we figured out that we could use the our platform, which is using AI, you know, AI advertising,
Okay.
to optimize ads and everything. We could use that to democratize ad creation and ad campaign management,
Gotcha.
which means DIY. You can then do it yourself,
Okay.
because the AI feature is going to basically help with creating those ads,
Okay.
basically help with targeting, and basically help with optimizing.
Gotcha.
And so all you're doing is feeding it with the information that you need,
Okay.
and it does the rest for you,
Nice.
right?
Nice. Okay.
And so and it's all linked to platforms like Meta,
Okay.
Google,
Okay.
TikTok, and everything.
Okay.
And so you just plug your account and link your account to the platform
Yeah.
and feed it with information,
Okay.
and it optimizes it for you. It will help it to be able to check and see what campaigns are performing best
Nice.
and allocate resources to those campaigns.
Nice.
And campaigns that are not performing well, it will be able to optimize it,
Okay.
automatically,
Okay.
without you having to do any of those things anymore.
Okay.
And that helps with more productivity,
Yep.
more efficiency, having your analytics instantly
Yeah.
and optimizing the resources that you have, getting the same results
Yeah.
that those agencies could have given you for a
Yeah.
fraction of the cost that
Gotcha.
you would have been paying.
Okay. What are the costs for it in regards to like someone signing up?
So it's free for people to sign up. We
Okay.
don't make our money from subscription. We're not subscription based.
Okay.
But what we're doing is we take a percentage of the ad spend. Now,
Okay.
when we say the ad spend, it's not even the entire amount that you put in your ad account.
Yeah.
And we also have the flexibility where if your ad performs very well,
Yeah.
and you decide that you're done with this campaign and you want to allocate the funds to a different ad, you can do
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
Or if you want to withdraw from the ad wallet, you
Yeah.
can also do that. There's all that, you have all that, the options.
Gotcha.
So for the ad spend, and that's why, and it's for that reason why
Yeah.
we don't take a percentage of the total ad spend that you put in your account. We
Yeah.
take a percentage of the ad that you actually, the ad amount that you actually utilize.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
let's say you put $100 in your ad
Yeah.
account and you decide to use 50 out of the $100.
So
We're taking a
percentage
percentage of the $50,
makes
not the
sense.
total $100 in your
Gotcha.
account,
Gotcha.
because you didn't use the entire $100.
Yeah.
And then if you decide that you want to withdraw the remaining 50,
Yeah.
you can withdraw it, but then there's some, maybe a small service charge or whatever,
Yeah.
because of the reversal.
Yeah.
And everything.
The fees, yeah.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
makes sense. Yeah, for those who don't understand right now, so whether you're running an ad through Instagram, TikTok, or um, Facebook, even like the business suites itself, like they charge you
Yeah.
as soon as you the percentage of how much you upload. So like for instance, let's say I was putting, let's say $200 into like a Instagram ad. It may be like 285, like uploading directly through the app. It's expensive as heck. I think it's like 30%.
Yeah.
It's insane. And then with Facebook, I think with Meta Business Suite, they charge less, but it's still a fraction of the total percent versus the percent that you actually spent. So it's a lot cheaper, the method that she's talking about using. So you'll pay a lot cheaper in terms of like being able to run your ad. It's more of like direct, like a direct model. So if you're running an ad for like $15 and you need to put $100 in, so that $15 you'll pay, let's say, $2 out of that versus paying, let's say $10 or $15 out of the total amount that you put into whatever wallet or system it is that they're using. So
and that gives people the flexibility, because if you put $100, for example, and you use 10 or 15 and you get the result you need,
right,
you don't have to use the rest.
right, exactly.
And you can set up another ad and then use that for that campaign. Another thing is that there's no minimum amount that you must allocate for your ads. It's up to you and it's at your discretion. As opposed to other platforms, for example, TikTok, there's a minimum. I think you have to do $20. That's the minimum, or there's an amount. All of them have an amount. You can't go below a certain amount. But for small businesses, we do not want to restrict them, because all fingers are not equal. People will have different budgets that they want to be able to work with, and people should be able to, if this person has 500 naira and wants to spend 200 on ads, they should be able to. And if this person has 1,000 and wants to spend 500, they should be able to. So there should be fairness, in terms of the presenting the opportunities for all to be able to use it.
Okay. No, that's awesome. Is it an app or is it web-based?
So it's both.
Okay.
We have the web-based version, which is actually public right now.
Okay.
And then the SaaS is going to be deployed before the end of the month.
Nice.
We already have the accounts set up in Play Store and App Store. We just need to deploy it.
Awesome.
I wanted to have a final look at it before deployment.
Awesome. Awesome. I love that. No, that's amazing. Love what you're doing there.
Thank you.
And in terms of like setting up an account, is it just email and
the good thing is it's now we had the synchronization with Google. So if you have a Google email address and you try to sign up or create an account, it gives you the option to sign up with Google or your Gmail or whatever.
Gotcha. Yep.
And once you do that, it just gets you in.
Nice. That's awesome. So like single sign on SSO for those who are familiar. Okay, that's dope. That's awesome. Cool. And in terms of like, I guess, where do you see the future of this app going, like within the next year? What do you want to happen?
So we want to be able to tap into those markets where our focus, we are open to everyone using the application. But our central focus is in Africa. Because
love that.
MSMEs in Africa account for a good number of businesses that are thriving in the world. And giving them that opportunity to basically scale and grow is something that we need to do, because it's a population that is trying to catch up with AI and all of these technical inventions. And trying as much as we can to make it easy for them is what is important for us. So we want to see that businesses are able to advertise and promote their products without having any of these technical challenges or funding challenges, because for small businesses, they probably don't have the huge budget for ad spend. So for them to be able to utilize what they have to grow and scale at their own pace is what we want to see. So having like a majority of African-owned businesses,
Yeah.
using this as a tool to grow,
Yeah.
even as we go around the continent with the Boma Prize,
Yeah.
showcasing how we are promoting and funding and scaling businesses,
Yeah.
basically sliding that in there and saying, oh, this is a tool that you can also use while we try to provide funding and grants through the crowdfunding and partnership and sponsorship and stakeholder
Gotcha.
partnerships that we get. We are also presenting you with a tool that you can use for ease of doing business.
Okay. No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Outside of you and your cousin, do you have other members on the team with you?
No, it's just us.
This is okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right now, I'm like the major investor.
Okay.
I'm the only investor
Yeah.
actually, and I'm deciding. I've decided to invest in it alone first because I
Okay.
want to see the numbers.
Yeah.
I want to get past the proof of concept
Okay.
and showcase what the application is capable of.
Okay.
And then at the moment we begin to see the numbers and the data,
Yeah.
then we can begin to reach out for investors and all that.
Awesome. And then you guys already live on the web. How many users do you have? You know?
So we just launched last week.
Okay. Gotcha.
Live
Gotcha.
on
Okay.
the web last week.
Okay.
And then we're trying to go live by the end of the month on
For
the
the app itself.
applications.
Okay.
So we'll probably know the numbers in the next 3 months.
Nice. Nice. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah. Definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Love what you're
But
building. Yeah.
we did like a wait list stuff.
Okay.
And we have about 1,000
Oh, wow.
subscribers
Nice.
on
Nice.
the wait list.
Yeah. Okay. Where are most of your subscribers from?
Everywhere.
Okay. Yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
I feel like there are a lot of people craving for things like this
Yeah.
because they're not getting as much conversions
Oh, yeah.
from the existing platforms. And
Definitely.
it's like a cash trap where they are
Yeah.
been made to like put more money.
Keep
and
loading.
put
Yeah.
money,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. Yep.
And they're not getting enough
Yeah.
return. So we'll see how it goes and
Yeah.
where it takes us.
It's awesome. Yeah. I think
Yeah.
it's very much a need. I'll be one of your trial testers as well for
Thank
sure.
you.
So yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Love what you're building there. If folks, before I even get to that piece, within the next 5 years, where's Boma? Give me like a rundown.
So in the next 5 years, we want to see BOMA as that organization that is driving innovation with digital products across Africa.
Yeah.
Also with a strong academic institution that is doing training, particularly focused on the youth.
Okay.
We also have a BOMA African Center, so we
Yeah.
want to be able to set up our center in the DMV area.
Yeah.
And also have stakeholder partnerships. We're looking at pursuing our ECOSOC status next year with the United Nations.
Nice.
So that we can begin to have UN funded and UN partnerships for some of the work that we're doing to drive more impact across the country and everything. So we're looking at a conglomerate.
Nice. That's awesome. I didn't ask this. I'm gonna probably ask this before we close. What was your experience like at the UN convention? Because you went there, right?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
I've actually been going to the UN since 2012,
Nice.
and the last time I was there was 2015. So it feels good to be back.
Okay.
So it was surreal. Like that, it was like, okay,
Yeah.
I've been away for a minute.
Nice.
It's good to be back here, engaging in. I made some new friends.
Good.
Networked a lot with some old faces too.
Yeah.
And it just felt like, this is the place. It's
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
melting pot,
Yeah.
where you meet everybody that you probably haven't seen in so many years.
Yeah.
And you catch up on all the amazing things that they're doing in the world. And then you see the areas of synergy.
Yeah.
And you begin to have conversations on partnerships and potential collaborations.
Yeah.
For greater impacts. And so it felt really good.
Yeah.
And I'm very hopeful for the conversations that are coming, post participation. I was able to I moderated some panels.
Okay.
I spoke on some panels, and attended some panels and learned from some panels. So it was a bit of everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's something that I would I look forward to doing again next year and the year after and the year after. It's a good event and a good platform.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you're doing amazing things, and you're definitely representing your name well. Boma means blessing, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're blessing a lot of people. So, thank you for all that you're doing there. I think future is bright for you. I
Amen.
think AdSense.ai is going to be doing amazing things.
Amen.
I'm looking forward to next year, or maybe future, maybe even sooner, interviewing you.
Yeah.
And then you say, yeah, we have 40,000 people on the app,
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah, looking
Yeah.
forward to have. Hopefully, we'll reach out when we are looking forward to doing our soft launch and
Yeah. Yeah.
major launch and stuff like that. But we really want to. I'm more about the results than the
Yeah.
aesthetics.
Yep.
So as opposed to rushing to have a big event,
Yeah.
to launch a product, I want to see the functionalities being used
Yep.
and see the numbers and
Yeah.
see the traction it gains and
Yeah.
see how well it's really meeting the needs
Yeah.
and expectations that we have for it.
Yep.
And when we see that happening and probably getting a chance to probably refine, because
Yep.
this is new, right?
Yeah.
So we're probably going to get user feedback and do
Yep.
a lot of tweaking here and there.
Yeah.
And after all of that is said and done, and we can see that we have a good product in the market, then we can party.
Awesome. Yeah. And you're very practical too. So
Yeah.
I love the fact that you're like, hey, I want to see that this app is actually good, is
Yeah.
useful for people,
Yeah.
and that it's doing what it's supposed to do. And then you refine it and you tweak it and all that jazz. So
Yeah.
this is good stuff.
Yeah.
So Boma, if people wanted to, I say Boma, I keep calling you Boma.
That's my
Blessing.
name.
Yeah, that's your name. But Blessing, if people wanted to get in touch with you, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Oh, my email.
Okay.
Yeah. So emails. I'm very active on social media actually. So maybe social media, I would say.
Okay.
Blessing Douglas is my name on Instagram.
Okay.
Blessing Douglas is my name on LinkedIn.
Okay.
I'm very active on LinkedIn and on Instagram. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, you're doing an amazing job with AdSense AI and everything else that you're doing. I think the sky's the limit for you. Keep pushing through. I know as an entrepreneur, it's tough. Trust me,
Absolutely.
I get it. It is tough.
You don't want to know. I fought multiple times with my developer. I'm like, bro, we were supposed to launch in July. What's going on?
Yeah.
And then it was August, and then now we're in September. I'm like, I'm about to
My
ask for
guy.
a refund.
Right.
So it's a lot.
Yeah.
And it's expensive.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
if you're working towards something and you're positive about where it's going to lead,
Right.
so it's a sacrifice.
Yeah, you're bootstrapping hard, and not just with your funds, but your time as well. So that's really important. I think the results are going to show, and
I'm hopeful.
Yeah, awesome.
Thank you.
All right, so guys, if you want to get in touch with Blessing, or you have any questions in regards to AdSense and anything that they're doing there, feel free to hit us up at africansintechnology@gmail.com, or you can actually send a DM. So if you're watching or listening to this via Spotify or on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, or Apple Podcasts, well, feel free to hit us up, and we'll definitely answer your questions as best as possible, and then we'll get you in touch with Blessing and all the amazing things that they're doing there. Definitely check out the app when it definitely comes out by the end of this month. We're in September, so by the end of September.
Yeah, you can actually check out the web version. It's actually AdSense.ai.
Yeah. So you can go check out the web version already, and take a peek at it, do a review. I think that will definitely bless her a lot to be able to see how how it's performing, and crowdsource with the results there. So definitely go check that out. Again, thank you for watching. This is Africans in Tech. Let me redo that because my mind just kind of left me for a second. All right, here we go. If you have any questions, feel free to hit us up at africansintechnology@gmail.com. My name is Sar Leby. This is Africans in Tech, where we're building bridges and shaping futures in tech. All right, fam.